Ladies and gentlemen, I am excited to share with you this particular watch I got from the Buy auction. This is the GPW-1000, the Gravitymaster Sky Cockpit. Thanks for joining me. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining me today on the G-Shock Watcher channel. Very excited to show you this watch. I've been testing it on the road for the last couple of days. I just came back from a trip in Beijing and I took this particular watch out. This is the GPW-1000, the Sky Cockpit Gravitymaster. A very, very comfortable watch, nice weighty feel on the arm. I'm really enjoying this watch. That's why I'm really excited to show it to you. First off, where did I get this from? Because this is an older watch. It's not anything new. So just as a quick sort of background on this one, the GPW-1000-1B. This is the watch which I had managed to be able to acquire on Buy. Its retail price was 100,000 yen. So 100,000 yen is around about $690 for a watch. And after using it for a couple of days, I can see the reason why this price is where it's at. It's a gorgeous watch, very solid, feels great on the wrist, very, very comfortable to go ahead and actually wear. What I'm excited about is the price I got it from. And at Buy, when I did the auction, I managed to get it for 31,001 yen. The 1 yen was important. But that price is around about $213. So compared to 689, I got for 213. So basically, I got it at about 30% of the retail price. And I can tell you, the quality of the watch, whoever maintained it before did a damn good job of looking after this watch. So I'm very, very happy about it. I'll show you the watch itself. We'll use the overhead camera to try and get a bit of a view. But first, I just want to show you some of the things that this watch is, what it has, what it can go ahead and actually do. It's a G-Shock watch, so there's things that you would expect it to have, worldwide time zones and all those different things, but it does have a very unique feature, which a lot of G-Shocks don't actually have. So that's a cool thing to go ahead and actually have a look at. But this G-Shock, if we jump over here, the G-Shock Gravitymaster, the Sky Cockpit, there were 16 of these watches that came out. So a variety of different ones, a few collaboration watches that were there, different bands, different sorts of faces, but they all pretty much had the same sort of capabilities. They had alpha gel vibration resistance, tough MVT, water resistance. Those are the things you would typically expect from a watch. But they also have this GPS feature. And I'll come back to this GPS feature because it's kind of unique in terms of what it can actually do, because we quite often talk about what is it actually used for, right? It's called a Gravitymaster Sky Cockpit, assumes you're flying, but there's a very specific capability that the GPS enables to help you with the time accuracy that you have on your actual watch itself. In addition, world time, 40 cities, time zones 27, alarms 1, multi-band 6, and tough solar. Now, in terms of the size, etc., let's just go back here to find my particular watch. So the Dash 1B. In terms of size, 126 grams. So this kind of puts it between a Mudmaster and a Frogman. I believe, I looked it up, the Frogman itself is a heavier watch. It typically is a very bulky watch. So that's at 140 grams. We can actually see here. A Mudmaster is around about 114 grams. And this particular watch is 126 grams. So you're talking about a weight on the arm which is just below a Frogman, just above a Mudmaster. But I will tell you, wearing this particular watch versus wearing a Mudmaster, I actually find that even though this is a heavier watch, it's actually very, very comfortable on the actual wrist. I think the resin band is actually really, really nice. The shape of it sits really nicely. There's not too many angular edges on this particular watch. And it just looks really, really good. Like I said, we'll go and have a look at this one. The date this watch came out at, and that's what's kind of exciting. This is actually a 11-year watch. It's been out for quite some time now. So really, really fantastic sort of watch. It's really held its looks very, very well in terms of that appearance. I mean, if you take a look at the watch face itself, It's a very modern, very slick, almost, I don't know if I want to say militaristic, but it does look very cool with the colors. You've got a little bit of yellow in there just to highlight, but this sort of carbon background on the actual watch itself makes it feel and look really, really nice on your arm itself. It's very, very cool. Now, what's interesting about this watch is that GPS functionality. And what that GPS functionality is used for is to enable you to help get the location where you are and automatically set the time for where you are. Now, this is beneficial when you're in areas that you cannot get the radio tower signals from the atomic watch stations, which GPS uses the multibands for. So the multiband helps you to synchronize the watch to that atomic watch tower to get the accurate time. But those watch towers don't cover everything. And so what this does is it will actually synchronize with a satellite up in the sky and will work out its location and set the time for you when you start to use a watch in a new location. So that's a very, very cool feature, and I'll show you how that actually works from that point of view. What I would do is, if you wanted to see a complete rundown of all the features and how it all works, I could try and do that, but I don't want to waste anyone's time. There already is a fantastic video by Watch Geek, and they did really an end-to-end tutorial on how to use and set up all the functions of the actual watch itself. So I'll keep a link of that in the actual description of this video below, because it's a fantastic video and those guys did a really fantastic job on that one. So let's quickly switch over to the overhead camera and let me sort of take you a bit of a view of the actual watch itself. Okay, so let's take a look. This is the watch, the GPW-1000. Very, very cool looking watch, as I sort of said, very tactical. We've got features here, so it tells you the days of the week, tells you what feature you're currently using. We've got the 24-hour clock up here, and we've got the little clock down on the other side here. So around the actual case itself, you can see all the different time zones that are actually there, and then we have the start-stop button, the mode button, and I can't remember what that button actually is there. Now, the interesting feature was that capability to actually get your location via the GPS and set the time. And what we can actually see, there's two things here. There's this area here, if I can look right, which says time. You can just sort of see it there without going out of focus, so time. And then this one here is T plus P, which is time and position. And so by using that, what we can actually do is get the GPS signal to be able to locate exactly where you are and get the time, while the other one just gets us the actual time. So to activate that, if I do this right, we hold down the button here, and that's going to time, and we hold a little bit more, goes to time and position, and what we'll see here is it'll start trying to communicate with the satellites. Now, inside this won't work, but you can sort of see here the dial going up and forward, trying to go and see if we can get the GPS signal. Now, it won't work because we're inside, and what you'll see, you've got a yes and a no up here. So it should go swing the second hand to no, to say we don't have a signal to be able to get the actual position itself. If we were outside and had a clear light of the sky, clear line of sight to the sky, I should say, you would see it go to yes. So there you go, it goes to no, and then goes back to normal time again. If we just wanted to be able to get the time and not the actual position, we'd just hold it down for a little bit less, and we would get that function in there. The other thing, because this is a GPS watch, you kind of have to turn off the that feature for when you fly. So to be able to do that, we basically hold down this button here. Oops, sorry, not that one. We'll stop that. Hold down this one, and you hear that beep, and then it will go down to flight mode. And there's a little plane just down the bottom here. So this will basically turn off the GPS signal on the actual watch itself. And then to turn it back on, hold it down. Oops, hold it down, and it should go ahead and turn GPS back on the watch again. And so as we go and work with this, you can see it's currently pointing to the day. I click on this button down here, and this will actually help us go through the various features. So we've got timers and stopwatches and all those different things. Time zones are typically set by pulling out the crown. So you can actually sort of see here, we turn the crown and then pull it out, and one will go ahead and just set that clock down there. The second one will set the main one. And you can sort of see how that's actually set for the different time zones in this house. So, screw that back in. But that's the watch. It's very, very cool. I didn't want to go through everything. Like I said, you can go and check out the reviews by the Watch Geek ones where they show all of the features. But that's a really interesting feature, is that ability to set the time and the position and the time utilizing the GPS signal in this particular watch. So that's it, ladies and gentlemen, the GPW-1000, a absolutely fantastic watch. Really enjoy wearing it. I do have another trip coming up, so I'm going to stick with it for another week and see how we go, and particularly to test out some of those different time zone features. But, you know, this is one of those instances where you win that auction on Buy and you get a really, really good quality watch. And that's why I love the auctions on Buy. You typically get very, very well maintained G-Shocks there at really, really good prices if you can find that bargain. So the GPW-1000 Gravitymaster Sky Cockpit, a brilliant watch, super comfortable, super stylish, and one I would definitely recommend. Thank you so much for joining me today.